Hello, my name is Zoe and today I want to talk about where to stream horror films. So, I know a few of you are big physical media fans and I am to an extent, but I also literally have this one bookshelf, which means that I don't have many places to store physical media, so I am a big streaming fan, which is to an extent I quite like it, but then I get worried, like what if the internet disappeared and I've only got like 20 DVDs, but they are my favourites, so I guess I could rewatch them. But we're not here to babble on about that. I am here to tell you 10 recommendations that you can watch on Shudder UK, and I'm hoping they're available on Shudder US as well. However, I am based in the UK, so I'm unable to get Shudder US, but I'm sure if I give you the suggestions, you're going to find them on one streaming site or another. Make sure it's legal though, kids. The first one that I am going to detail in at number 10 is The Witch in the Window. So this is a 2018 film and it focuses on a father and son that go to flip a farmhouse, and whilst they are there they discover that there is a sinister presence in the house known as Lydia, who's believed to be the witch in the window, hence the title of the film. I was a bit dubious about this one. You know, the title of it, the synopsis, it all sounds a little bit shitty, let's be honest. However, it's actually pretty fucking frightening in places, and I've got to say it's slightly different to your normal kind of haunting house film. It's got a lot more emotion there, and I think as well, you know, it plays a lot on this relationship we have with houses, and I think it's actually quite a sad story in The Witch in the Window, but even with the sadness there, God, there were times where I thought it was absolutely fucking frightening. In at number 9 is a film called The Hallow, which is from 2015. So a family, they move into a new house. It's always new bloody houses, isn't it? They move into a new abode in rural Ireland. I was attempting an accent there, but that was, I'm so sorry. They move into a house in rural Ireland and they have a beautiful woodland, acres and acres of woodland behind the house, which is, for many of us, that's just a dream come true. However, they start to hear rumours from the locals about things that dwell in the woods, and they're not friendly little fairies. No, it's something else that dwells in the woods that has teeth and is nasty and scary. And of course the family kind of going, yeah, all right then, sure. But as soon as the sun sets, they soon begin to realise that yes, maybe the villagers are telling the truth. The Hallow is, I'm not going to say like it's the greatest film in the world, because it's not, but it is a great little indie film, one that I think a lot of people probably haven't seen. It doesn't get spoken about quite as much as some of the other films that are out there, and I think it's got a really authentic feel to it, and it is really frightening at times. There's a lot of again, kind of like emotional distraught in the film, as we see, you know, kind of how the family deal with it. And I think one of the best parts of The Hallow is the design of the creatures. And I guess you might have guessed that, seeing as there's something that dwells in the woods, and it's usually a creature or a cute little fairy. The design of them it's outstanding. It's very frightening, but I really liked it. I think it's a better kind of creature design than a lot that we see. So that is The Hallow. So in at number 8 we have a short horror film, female directed, by Kate Dolan. It's from 2017 and it's called Cat Calls. It focuses on a man who nicely decides to flash his cock at 2 girls. I think he's in a car jerking off and he goes, "Hello ladies, do you want to see my cock?" Which, just putting it out there, none of us, no women ever want to see your greasy, grimy little cock. He flashes his cock to, God, I've said the word cock so many times. He flashes to two women, young women, and he thinks he's going to get away with it. But what he does not know is these two young women are slightly different from the norm, and as the title suggests, they have a slightly feline nature about them, which means that they can go after him and get revenge. And my God, that revenge is satisfying. I'm a big fan of things like rape revenge films, so this little short film just hit the nail on the head. For many of us that have experienced having dicks flashed at them or being catcalled on the street, you are really going to enjoy this little short horror. In at number 7, we have a film that I think has been spoken about quite a few times, but I also think, you know, if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. So it came out in 2017, and again, female directed. It's by Issa Lopez, and that is Tigers Are Not Afraid. This is such an emotional film. Like, it's really, really emotional, and very distressing in that way. So it's set in Mexico, and it's a young girl who her mother disappears and leaves her on her own, and but she finds a gang of young boys who are around about her age. I believe some of them are even perhaps younger, around about the 7-8-year-old mark, and they're all orphans. They don't have their parents, so very similar position to her. And at first, of course, they're a little bit about having a girl join their group, but she's relentless. She stays with them, and they all begin to form this. They have a magical relationship, a bond between them all, because, you know, they've been through hardship. They're still going through hardship, and together they kind of form this incredibly strong bond. And watching these children go through this is, like I said, it's really emotional, and it's quite hard to watch at times, but the film is done very, very well. The actors in it, the children actors, are, my God, they are so good in this. And it's about them finding out what happened to their parents, looking into the corrupt drug lords that run the city, and essentially them trying to get redemption for the deaths of their parents, even though they are young. So yeah, if you like things that are perhaps a bit more driven by emotion, they've got meaning, they've got something to say, then Tigers Are Not Afraid is a fantastic one. So in at number 6 is It Stains the Sand Red. So It Stains the Sand Red is from 2016, and this one focuses on a lone woman who finds herself in a desert, like completely in the middle of nowhere. I'm guessing it's perhaps the Nevada desert or something. I'm not good at geography. I don't know all my deserts. So she finds herself in the desert, and she actually becomes followed by a lone zombie. And it sounds from the premise like a really bizarre film, but actually, and I wasn't sure going into this, I was like, how can I possibly for an hour and a half watch one woman being followed by one zombie? It seems, but it's incredible. It really does kind of pull you in, and I've never seen anything quite like It Stains the Sand Red. And there's a couple of bits in there which, I'm going to be honest, like my partner watching it, he was like, ooh, that's gross, but I actually thought it was fantastic, like so clever. And I don't want to mention the scene in particular because I want you to see it for yourself, but it involves blood, and that blood comes from an unconventional kind of place, which only happens for a woman. But It Stains the Sand Red is more about connection, humanity, isolation, being alone, and finding comfort and friendship in the most unlikely of places. I just thought it was a really different kind of film to anything else that I'd seen before. So number 5, a film that, again, I think is quite an underrated film. It came out in 2012, and I must say, the more I make videos and the more I talk about films, a lot of things came out in 2012. Who knows why? This is by Eduardo Sanchez, and the film is Lovely Molly. So it was apparently first off called The Possession, which I think unfortunately is a bit too obvious. So I understand why they called it Lovely Molly. And it's about newlyweds, Tim and Molly, as they move into Molly's childhood home. What happens there is there's a sinister presence in the home. However, it's slightly different and there's a little bit more to it than just that. On first glance, it looks like purely supernatural, paranormal type of film, which to an extent it absolutely is, but there's definitely a lot more going on here, and we follow, it's more about Molly and her childhood and trauma and what happened to her, and we watch as Molly kind of succumbs to this, I guess, presence, but you know, there's a lot of questions thrown up. Is it really a supernatural presence in the house, or is it actually something that's more to do with her, about her past, about the traumas she's gone through and probably repressed feelings and situations that she's never spoken about? I remember watching this in 2012 when it came out with a group of my friends, and we were all like, holy shit, that's fucking freaky as hell. And I think it is probably one of the images that has stuck in my mind so much from that film. So yeah, if you can check out Lovely Molly, absolutely do. Number 3 on the list is The Canal, which came out in 2014. So The Canal, again, actually, it would probably make quite a good double bill with Lovely Molly, to be honest. So we have a husband and wife, and the husband suspects his wife of cheating, and this kind of sends him a bit psycho, bit mad. That combined with the fact that everyone starts telling him that the house him and his wife have moved into is haunted. And we basically follow him as he kind of descends into madness. But at the same time, we're a little bit kind of like, is he descending into madness, or is there actually supernatural shit going on? So The Canal is, yeah, again, really fantastic indie movie that would highly recommend you checking out. So number 2 on the list is Vivarium, which came out in 2020. This year, yes, and it's by Lorcan Finnegan, and I really liked this film. So admittedly, some people are going to love it, other people are going to hate it. It's a peculiar film. It's very bleak and depressing. There's not really anything positive in there, and that kind of bleakness comes through at the very beginning of the film. It's very soon that we head into bleak territory. So this focuses on a couple, Tom and Gemma, as they go to search for their perfect home. They are first-time homeowners, so they go to an estate agent, as you normally would, to find a home, and they go to a viewing in what is one of the most fucking awful places to live ever. So I guess any of you that aren't from the UK, we have a lot of new build buildings here. This is a British film. A new build buildings here, and they all look absolutely identical, rows upon rows of them on these kind of like housing estates. And you know, to an extent they're well made, they look quite nice. But the problem is, it's like these identical rows, and it almost is quite dystopian in a way, very freaky. And Vivarium takes that aspect about affordable housing and kind of takes it to the extreme. So they go to the housing estate where they're going to do a viewing, and literally every house, every street, every road is the exact same looking. It's basically a labyrinth. And the estate agent takes them in, shows them around the house, and then he fucking disappears, and they are stuck in this hellhole of identical houses. And you kind of go, oh, it doesn't seem that bad. My God, just you fucking wait. If you don't want to hear spoilers, I'm going to say skip ahead a couple of minutes. They get given a newborn baby, and they have to raise the newborn baby whilst they're stuck in this fucking awful shithole place. And the baby is just, Jesus fucking Christ, horrible. The horrible, if you thought Damien from The Omen was bad, then you have not met this child. One of the creepiest one of the creepiest children in a film ever, and so fucking annoying. Like, I wanted to rip my ovaries out after watching this film. The film talks a lot about, I would say, parenthood in general, but I think also motherhood, and the way that us women are expected to love children regardless of how fucking horrible and annoying they are, and we are the caregivers, and we have this almost a duty to love and to cherish and to, you know, bring up these children in whatever way possible. And Vivarium takes it to its extreme. It also explores relationships, the potential for relationships to break down when children are brought into it. And I just thought it was an incredible film that, the ending, I kind of just went, Jesus Christ, that was, wow, yeah, now I feel like absolute shit. So, that's Vivarium. Again, like I said, check it out. Incredible film. Absolutely loved it. So number 1 on the list is Alice, Sweet Alice. So this is a film from 1976, and this was a film that for me is very like off-brand. Like, I wouldn't usually watch something like this, but what drew me to it was the front cover. When I first heard about Alice, Sweet Alice, I thought that it was a straight up slasher. And for any of you that know me, I'm not a big slasher fan. However, Alice, Sweet Alice, not like that at all. Do not go in expecting a slasher film, because if you like slashers, you're going to be disappointed. And if you don't like slashers, well, I guess if you're like me and you don't like slashers and you watch it, you can go, actually, that's pretty fucking good. So it's a bit of a toss-up there. But Alice, Sweet Alice is about a young girl called Alice. I think she's about 12 years old. And her younger sister, Karen, gets brutally murdered at church, of all fucking places. Alice gets the blame for it, which, in my opinion, is a pretty shitty thing to do, is to blame Alice. I mean, she's a bit weird. She's clearly got a few problems. But is she a fucking murderer of her sister? At 12? Seems a bit far-fetched, but, you know, everyone jumps on their fucking high horse and it's like, oh, Alice is a fucking murderer. She likes playing with, you know, dead animals. She likes taxidermy. Who of us don't? I mean, I've got a dead buffalo on my wall. So anyway, enough moaning about that. This is a really, really great little film, and I think actually, again, a lot more to digest here. It's not a straight up slasher. There's a lot of fantastic characters. It talks a lot about, you know, how as kids we're often seen as the bad guys when we can't be the bad guys. We're children. Well, that's a lie. Again, Damien, The Omen, Children of the Corn. Okay, I take it back. But Alice, Sweet Alice, it's a great little film from the 70s. It still looks really, really good. It's got a really coherent storyline throughout, and there are some really good twists in there as well, which I did not see coming. And I think if I was going to double bill this one, just thinking about it, probably going to go well with Don't Look Now. Got very kind of similar vibes, completely different films, but the vibes and the atmosphere that are in both are quite similar in there. There were some films that you can watch on Shudder UK and hopefully Shudder US. Any of you that are streaming in other countries that's not the UK or US, I do apologise. I know that Shudder is now available in Australia, which is fantastic news. I'm not entirely sure where it is available around the rest of the world, but hopefully a lot of these films are available on other streaming sites as well. And I guess during what is the continued fucking pandemic, and I guess just life in general, hopefully this gives you some great recommendations to watch. As always, make sure you put a thumbs up if you liked this, thumbs down if you thought it was a pile of shit, which, to be honest, I'd probably put a thumbs down. And if you like my videos, do make sure you subscribe. Also make sure that you check the show notes out. Give me a follow on social media. We can connect. Let me know your thoughts, any recommendations on Shudder that you have, or any streaming sites. I'm always up for new recommendations. And yeah, Thanks for watching.